So we are starting the session. Okay. Everyone can able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So ये जो सेशन है रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम इंट्रोडक्टरी चैप्टर, ये मैंने पहले भी मंडे को आई थिंक समर बैच के साथ लिया हुआ है. So only 7 were present at that time. So I'm repeating this session for the winter batch and the other student of the summer batch. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
कुछ भी डिफिकल्टी आई तो यू कैन शेयर इट इन अ चैट बॉक्स और यू कैन आस्क मी आफ्टर द सेशन. So myself Dr. Samisha Murkute, I am your new lecturer for the medicine department. I am MD homeopathic psychiatrist. So today we are going to learn about what is respiratory system, the part of the respiratory system, the normal function of the respiratory system, types of respiratory system diseases, and diagnostic procedure of respiratory diseases. So what is respiratory system? The respiratory system is the organ and other part of your body which involves in breathing when you exchange the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Your respiratory system includes, there are multiple parts in your respiratory system till the bronchioles, capillaries. So first involves the nose, nasal cavity, mouth, pharynx, trachea, lung, bronchial tube, bronchi, capillaries, sinuses, throat, larynx, diaphragm, air sac, bronchioles. So these are the parts of respiratory system. So upper respiratory system tract involves the nasal cavity, soft palate, hard palate, nostril, oral cavity, tongue, trachea, pharynx, larynx, vocal cord, paranasal sinuses. And lower respiratory tract includes the larynx, tracheal cord. Yeah.
मैम आज छुट्टी नहीं है क्या?
नहीं.
हॉलीडे मैम, आज तो छुट्टी होना चाहिए एटलीस्ट.
या हेलो.
हाँ मैम.
हाँ सुट्टी नाही आहे आज.
मॅम आजचा दिवस तरी झोपू द्यायला पाहिजे होता आम्हाला शांततेत.
उद्या झोपा.
मॅम
उद्या तुम्ही झोपू शकता. आणि ज्यांना जॉईन करायचंय सेशन त्यांनी जॉईन करा, ज्यांना नाही करायचंय दे कॅन लीव.
मॅम बट व्हॉट अबाउट अटेंडन्स?
अटेंडन्स जे प्रेझेंट राहतील त्यांचीच लागेल. सो वेअर वी आर एट अ लोअर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रॅक्ट. So lower respiratory tract includes the larynx, tracheal cartilages, left primary bronchioles, left lung, bronchioles, alveolar sac, alveoli, diaphragm, intercostal muscles, ribs, right lung, primary bronchioles, and trachea. So what is the normal function? If we understand the normal function of the respiratory tract, then we can easily able to understand what is abnormal function of respiratory tract. So what is the disease type? So when you start breathing, you inhale the air into your nose or the mouth and it travel down to the back of your throat and into the trachea, which is divided into the air passage called the bronchioles tube. See in the image, you can see the bronchioles tube and the bronchioles. So as the bronchioles tube passes through your lung, they divided into the small air passage called the bronchioles. The bronchioles end in a tiny balloon-like air sac, which called as the alveoli. So your body has about the 600 million alveoli. So see, this is the larynx, this is the trachea, this is the primary bronchioles, which leads into the secondary bronchioles, and secondary bronchioles lead into the tertiary bronchioles, which leads the small bronchioles, and then the alveoli and the capillaries in the second image. The alveoli are surrounded by the mesh of the tiny blood vessels which called the capillary. In previous image, you can see the capillaries. There are multiple capillaries around the alveoli. So here oxygen from inhaled air passes through your blood, and after absorbing the oxygen, blood goes to your heart, and your heart then pump it through your body to the cell and to the other tissue and the organ. So you all know that lung में oxygenated deoxygenated blood का exchange होता है, then it go towards the heart and it supply the all to your body. So after as the cell use the oxygen, they make a carbon dioxide that goes into your blood. So your blood then carries the carbon dioxide back to your lung where it removed from your body when you exhale. So there is the process of inhalation and the exhalation. So inhalation and exhalation are how your body brings in oxygen and get rid of the carbon dioxide. The process kit helps from a large dome-shaped muscle under your lung called the diaphragm. So diaphragm ka shape, it is like dome-shaped muscle. So when you breathe in, your diaphragm pulls downward, creating a vacuum that causes the rush of air into your lung, and the opposite happens when you exhalate. So your diaphragm relaxes upward and pushes on your lung, allowing them to deflate. So you can see in the image inhalation and the exhalation process. When diaphragm contract, which means moves down, the inhalation occur. And when diaphragm relax, that is moves up, that means exhalation occur. So how does the respiratory system clean the air? There are the multiple inhale particles also, foreign bodies also, oxygen and the carbon dioxide also. So how does air system clean that? So your respiratory system has built in the method to keep the harmful things in the air from entering your lungs. So hair in your nose helps filter out the large particle, that is tiny hairs, which called as the cilia. So along your air passage moves in a sweeping motion to keep the passage clean. But if you breathe in a harmful thing like cigarette smoke, the cilia can stop working. This can lead to the health problem like bronchiectasis. So there are multiple immune system, we can call it as the fighter system in our body only. So in a nose there are the cilia and the mucus lining your hair passage, which keeps the harmful substances from entering your lung. Like tiny particles or any tiny substances, tiny pollen grains or tiny dust particles which remove from the cilia only. But there are the harmful particles also like the cigarette smoke. So cilia are unable to stop that particle and enter into your lung, and it affect in your health system. So cell in your trachea and bronchial tube make the mucus that keep the air passage moist and helps keep things like dust, bacteria, viruses and allergy causing things out of your lung. Any difficulty till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we move ahead then. So this is the respiratory volume and the capacity. Please remember these normal values, because when we see the abnormal values, you can able to diagnose the patient at a proper way. So the tidal volume, so normal breath moves about the 500 ml of the air with each breath. So vital capacity is the maximum quantity of air in one breath, usually 4,500 to 5,500 ml. Dead space volume, airs that remain in conducting zone and never reach the alveoli, it about 150 ml. So total lung capacity, normal amount of the lung can hold usually 4,650 to 6,400 ml. So these are the normal value of respiratory volume and the capacity. So respiratory disease, which are the respiratory type of the disease? Asthma, bronchiectasis, COPD, pneumonia, tuberculosis, lung cancer, cystic fibrosis, pleural effusion, IPF and the sarcoidosis. So when multiple type of the patients come with the respiratory disease, they are including this respiratory type of the disease. Even in your exams, when asked you about the respiratory system, so they will ask the they will ask about the what is the upper respiratory type of the disease with the THRAPs, or what is the asthma, what is the bronchiectasis. So specific question they asked. So common clinical presentation in respiratory disease. In majority of the respiratory disease conditions, you see this is the clinical presentation. So dyspnea, breathlessness, cough, nasal discharge, hemoptysis, and the chest pain. There are other clinical presentation also we can see in the respiratory disease, but the common presentation, there are the 4 symptoms. So why dyspnea and breathlessness occur in the RS complaint? So you all know that dyspnea and breathlessness is difficulty in breathing. So dyspnea result when there is imbalance between the perceived need to breathe and the perceived ability to breathe. So CO2 is high and the O2 is low, which causes the dyspnea. In cardiac cause also dyspnea occur, but the reason behind the cardiac cause is different, and the reason behind the dyspnea in RS is different. So cough and the nasal discharges, there is mucus secretion are normally removed by the ciliary breathing. When this is impaired by increased secretion. When this is increased by increased secretion, cough then become an important hint of the secretion removal. There is inflammation occur at the mucosal level, which causes the narrow down of the ciliary line or the mucosal line, which causes the increase of the mucus secretion. So that leads to the cough or the any discharges. So hemoptysis is the inflammation of the tracheobronchial mucus or the mucosal erosion. In the chronic inflammation, it because of the arterial hypertrophy. And the chest pain due to the inflammation of the muscle and the tendon. So respiratory infection include the infection of the upper respiratory tract and the infection of the lower respiratory tract. So which organism capable to infect the respiratory structure? It involves the bacteria, virus. Majority of the respiratory tract infection caused by the virus. For example, the rhinovirus, parainfluenza virus, or right now coronavirus, and the fungi. So depending on the organism, extent of the infection, the symptoms can range from mild to severe and even the life-threatening. So there are multiple risk factor or the triggering factor for the respiratory tract infection. So which are they? So see, there's cigarette smoking, which can paralyze the ciliary lining of the cell of the respiratory passage and impair the removal of the secretion particles and the microorganism. The presence of respiratory pathogens such as cold or the influenza virus, and the air pollution. So there are air pollution include the dust particles also, the pollen grains also, the factories pollution also. So all include the air pollution, which trigger factor for the respiratory type of the condition. So how we diagnose the respiratory diseases? So there are multiple respiratory disease conditions for diagnostic procedure. So there are the routine radiography, there are CT, MRI, that is magnetic resonance image, positron emission tomography scanning, collection of the sputum, bronchoscopy, chest X-ray, blood test. So there are the multiple diagnostic procedure. In each diseases, for example, if we consider the asthmatic condition, you will see in the blood IgE level are increased or eosinophilic level are increased. In other diseases, you can see the collection of the sputum has infected. So there are multiple diagnostic procedure for multiple type of the respiratory disease condition. But these are the common which we help to diagnose the respiratory disease condition. So what is upper respiratory tract infection? What diseases include the upper respiratory tract infection? किसी को confusion है यहाँ तक?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any other confusion?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So upper respiratory tract infection. So the upper respiratory tract included the sinuses, nasal passages, pharynx, larynx. Please mute yourself.
Jayesh.
So upper respiratory tract include the sinuses, nasal passages, pharynx, larynx, which serve as a gateway to the trachea, bronchi, and the pulmonary alveoli space. So as already we see what is the upper respiratory tract, what part include the upper respiratory tract and the lower respiratory tract. Okay, Priyanka, I will send the link to the YouTube channel.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So, in mainly upper respiratory tract infection include the rhinitis, pharyngitis, sinusitis, epiglottis, laryngitis, tracheitis at the specific manifestation. you all are in the final year, right? So after that you will go into the practice. So normally you see the many patient of the only upper respiratory tract infection, which comes to you like a common cold or any sinusitis, only pharyngitis. So you able to understand ki what is exactly the pharyngitis, what is exactly the presentation of the sinusitis, or why the common cold occur. So the upper respiratory tract infection represent the most common acute illness. So it range from the common cold, typically a mild self-limiting catarrhal syndrome. So upper respiratory infection range from common cold, typically a mild self-limiting catarrhal syndrome, which is called as the excessive secretion of the thick phlegm or the mucus of the nasopharynx, to life-threatening illness such as epiglottis, which is the infection of the epiglottis, which swells and causes the obstruction of the upper airway. So you see in the image, there are the common cold, which is caused by the rhinovirus, coronavirus, adenovirus, myxovirus. There are the dental caries, thrush, thrush mouse, stomatitis, pharyngitis, otis media.
मॅम
Yeah,
आवाज ब्रेक होते तुमचा.
okay. येतोय आता नीट?
थोडंसं ठीक आहे चालेल.
Okay. बाकीच्यांना येतोय आवाज?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So, as the sinusitis, croup, epiglottis, whooping cough, bronchiectasis, bronchiolitis, so these all are the respiratory tract infection, upper respiratory tract infection. So, rhinitis. What is rhinitis? Rhinitis is the inflammation of the nasal mucosa. Then the rhinositis and the sinusitis. So, inflammation of the nares, paranasal sinuses, including the frontal, ethmoidal, maxillar, and the staphoid. So sinusitis is the common in the person with a viral upper respiratory tract infection. Transient changes in the paranasal sinuses are noted on the CT scan in more than 80% of the patient with the uncomplicated viral upper respiratory tract infection. However, bacterial rhinosinusitis is a complication in approximately 2% of the person. So nasopharyngitis, which is also called as the common cold, that is the inflammation of the nares, pharynx, hypopharynx, vulva, and the tonsils. So common cold varies from age. Rates are high in the children younger than the 5 years. Children are about 3 to 8. Rates are highest in children younger than the 5 years. Children have about 3 to 8 viral respiratory illness per year. So adolescent and the adult have approximately 2 to 4 cold a year, and people older than the 60 years have fewer than the 1 cold per year. So what is pharyngitis? Pharyngitis is the inflammation of the pharynx, hypopharynx, vulva, and the tonsils. Acute pharyngitis, the incidence of the viral and the bacterial pharyngitis, peaks in children aged 4 to 7 years. Group A streptococcal bacteria, which causes the approximately 5 to 15% of all the pharyngitis infection. Epiglottis, that is the supraglottis. This is the life-threatening situation, the inflammation of the superior portion of the larynx and the supraglottic area. Epiglottis occur at the rate of 6 to 14 cases per 10,000 children. These conditions typically occur in the children aged between the 2 to 7 years. So these epiglottic situations are mainly seen in the children. Epiglottis is estimated to occur in an annual incidence of 9.7 cases per million adults. So these cases seen in the children also, the adult also, but mainly it's seen in the children. Laryngitis, inflammation of the larynx, where we see the hoarseness of the voice or the more mucosal secretion. Laryngotracheitis is the inflammation of the larynx, trachea, and the supraglottic area. Laryngotracheobronchitis may affect the people of any age, but usually occur in the children aged 6 months to 6 years. Tracheitis is the inflammation of the trachea and the supraglottic area. So what is the pathophysiology of upper respiratory tract infection or the respiratory tract infection? So mainly upper respiratory tract infection involves the invasion of the mucosal lining, the upper airway, which is the nose first of all. So person to person handshake or person to person contact or direct contact with the air, which inoculate the bacteria and the virus, which begins when secretion are transferred by the touching a hand exposure to the pathogen to the nose or the mouth, or by directly inhaling the respiratory droplet from the infected person who is coughing and sneezing. If you are getting contacted with any affected person, or hand-to-hand shaking, or any with a respiratory droplet which causes the inoculation of the virus and the bacteria. So when virus and the bacteria enter into your nose or enter into your throat with a severe barrier, so as I already said, there are the multiple defense mechanism in your body only. So there are the physical, mechanical, or the humoral. So and the cellular immune defenses. So there are the immune system which ready to fight for any type of the infection for in your body. So there are the first the hair lining. So hair lining the nose filter and trap some pathogen. The mucus coat much of the upper respiratory tract, trapping the potential infection. The angle resulting from the junction of the posterior nose to the pharynx, which causes the large particle to impinging on the back of the throat. And the ciliary cell lowering the respiratory tract, trap and transport the pathogen up to the larynx, where they are swallowed into the stomach. So these are the trapping mechanism in your body, which helps to fight for the disease condition. So there are adenoid and the tonsils, which contain the immune cell that respond to the pathogens. Humoral immunity. I think you all know about the humoral immunity and the cellular immunity, which act in your body to reduce the infection throughout the entire respiratory tract. So resident and recruit, there are the macrophages, monocyte, neutrophils, eosinophil, that is WBCs, which engulf and destroy the invader. There are the inflammatory cytokines which mediate the immune response to invade the pathogens. So normal nasopharyngeal flora, which include the various streptococci and the staphylococci, which help the defense against the potential pathogens. So those patients who have a less humoral immunity or the cellular immunity, these are more immune to get the infection of the respiratory tract infection. Like अभी भी जो कोरोना वायरस का शुरू है, you all know कि those who having a low immunity system, they get more infected. So what is low immunity system? So low immunity system person माने any type of the which person's having a AIDS, or which person's having any surgical infection, or which person's having any type of comorbidity, they having the risk factor because they having the low humoral immunity and the cellular immunity. So what type of the symptoms we see in the upper respiratory tract infection? So there is edema, that is swelling of the inside of the nasal cavity, secretion, nasal as well as the throat, fever, headache, facial tenderness, redness of the throat, which result from the inflammatory response of the immune system, which invading the pathogen from the toxin produced to the pathogen. So risk factor. So there are the multiple risk factor which causes the upper respiratory tract infection. First of all, genetic. So genetic is the hereditary. So there are multiple type of the upper respiratory tract diseases also, and even lower respiratory tract diseases also, which prime is because of the genetic factor. Contact, so infected contact like handshaking or in school or in group setting, which causes the increased risk. Travel, when we travel, there are the increased because of the exposure to the large number of the individual in close setting. So smoking and immunocompromised patient. So diagnostic test. There are multiple diagnostic tests like blood test, sputum test, X-ray, CT scan as the nasal and the throat swab. So mainly the treatment part, the pharmacologists like the allopaths given the medicines like NSAID, steroid or antibiotics. There are multiple type of the pharmacological treatment for the upper respiratory tract infection. In cold cases also they give the steroid antibiotics, so which lessen the respiratory tract infection. But in our homeopathic there are multiple type of the drugs. For example, arsenic album, pulsatilla, bryonia, antifluid, antimtard, carbobase. There are multiple type of the drug which gives in the upper respiratory tract infection. I am covering the 2 drug only, but please read the other theras, because in your exam also they will ask about the what is the upper respiratory tract infection with the theras. So first is the bryonia. So this remedy is often indicated when the cough is dry, very painful. The person feels worse from any movement and may even need to hold his or her side or to press against the chest to keep it still. The cough can make the stomach hurt and digestion may be upset. A very dry mouth is common and the person may be thirsty. A person who wants to be left alone when ill and not talked to or disturbed is likely to need the bryonia. I have one patient who's come to me with a common cold and he continuously saying कि मैम chest बहुत दर्द कर रहा है, बहुत दर्द कर रहा है. His mouth is dry. He's not a person that who wants to be left alone, but he always wants कि कोई तो भी चाहिए मेरे साथ. But he's thirsty and he's like holding his chest a long time. He's saying कि मुझे अभी heart attack आने वाला है. Then I gave him the bryonia 200, only one dose, and in the evening his cough is reduced, even the coryza is reduced, and then he's not saying like chest pain हो रहा है करके. So he is much better with the bryonia. So you can see the impact of our homeopathic treatment. Next is the Antim tart. So this remedy is indicated when the person has a feeling of wet mucus in the chest, breathing makes the bubbly, rattling sound, the cough takes the effort and is often not quite strong enough to bring the mucus up, although burping and splitting may be help. The person may feel the drowsy and the dizzy and feels better when lying on the right side or the sitting up. This is very important of Antim tart. The person feels better when lying on the right side or the sitting up. Any questions?
Ma'am, what's the meaning of burping?
Burping, like eructations, you can see the sound of eructations. जैसे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं तो छोटे बच्चे बर्प करते हैं, you know, after drinking the milk, we give him the ऐसे पीठ पे थपाते हैं, so they burp. That type of the sound.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
what if have